Drench resistance is probably the biggest hurdle that any farmer's going to have to overcome in the next probably 10, 20 years. Lambs aren't growing as quick, not getting growth rates out of them. Hi, I'm Ethan Butcher. I've been agronomist for PGG Seeds for the last 10 years, and then for the last 9 years I've been farming here in Hedgehope. So drench resistance is essentially the drench we use isn't killing the internal parasites, they become resistant to it.
There's increasing numbers of parasites left in the gut following a drench that are resistant to those active ingredients, and we now have triple resistance parasites that are resistant to the effects of 3 actives in the same drench.
So that means that there's less meat going out the gate and less money coming in. So all of a sudden it's not a financial operation. So we've been doing quite a bit of work looking at how forage crops can be used as a tool to reduce drenching.
When we look at all of the different life stages of the worms on farm, 90% or more live in free living stages in the soil, on the pasture, and dung pats. When we have a taller forage crop, it's a lot further for the L3s to climb, like a skyscraper if you'd like, to sit up the top and be eaten. So the numbers of L3 larvae at the top of crops are very, very low compared to what we'd find in a shorter grass. So it is a plant architecture effect.
So I ran a trial on my farm here this last season on Peloton Rafno, just EID'd 20 lambs per treatment, comparing Rafno against plantain clover and against pasture, and just did fecal egg counts weekly. The pasture lambs were the first ones to hit the drenching threshold, and then all the other crops made it to the end of the 70-day period without requiring another drench.
Peloton Rafno brassica we've used at all of our sites, and that's probably been the most consistent forage crop in terms of protection. The key to it was the first-year crops, on average, work better than second-year crops. So the next step is looking at a site in the South Waikato region in the North Island to look at whether crops are protective against facial eczema. The second scope of work is undertaking lambs going onto crop and seeing whether we can extend them not requiring drenching beyond the 70-day period.
For me, it's a really exciting result. It's looking like cropping can be a tool to overcome drench resistance and ensure that there's generations to come farming here after me.